What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Can you hear me, Lost in Translation?
I sure can.
Man, listen, man, I want to just have a pop-up, man. We could probably do this probably every Sunday because Sunday is the day. But I want to just hop right in here, man. I listened to a sermon, man, and welcome to the podcast, guys. Listen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button when you come in. We would love to have you. If you want to join the pulpit, the link is in the chat. But for about an hour and 15 minutes, man, we'll talk about this subject. The Bible does not condemn sex before marriage. Did you know that, Lost in Translation?
I did not know that.
There's somebody. Oh, it sounds like you're not coming out your mic. You're not coming out your mic.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. So there's a pastor, and that pastor, his name is Pastor Delman Coates. He has a PhD in theology, and he said that let's talk about sex. And he said that having sex, premarital sex, is not a condemnation to God. So we're definitely going to have a conversation. We're going to take a look at the video. We're going to take a look at him specifically saying that sex before marriage is okay. God does not condemn that. He also goes into the LGBTQAI plus community and says the same thing, that God does not condemn homosexuality. There's not a verse in the Bible that says a man cannot fall in love with another man and be married. This man is all over the place, and so he does believe that men can be married to each other, and he's a pastor.
I beg your pardon?
Yes, he is a pastor.
Does that sound better?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And so I want to jump right in here and pull him up on the screen. Dr. Delman Coates. Again, Lost, he has a PhD in theology, and he's teaching his church that premarital, the Bible does not condone or condemn marriage before sex before marriage. Okay, so
Really?
And yeah, we're gonna let him explain it to us.
Okay.
It's just okay. Here we go. Pull it up. All right, let's watch it. Here we go.
About sex. And literally, as I was sitting over there, ushers permit worshipers to enter. Literally, as I was sitting over there, the Lord gave me another title for this sermon. And that title is Don't Die Like Weezy. Do me a favor, look at your neighbor, smile at him and say, neighbor, oh neighbor, whatever you do, don't die like Weezy. Come on, put your hands together and give the Lord praise today. My introduction to the subject of sex began not in the educational confines of a school classroom or the sacred space of the church or in the supportive setting of my family. Instead, I was first introduced to the subject of sex on the playground and in the locker room as a young boy. I was around the age of 10, and one day my football coach asked me to take the team's equipment to the storage room after football practice. It was a difficult task given how much equipment we had and how heavy it was, but I labored to do it anyway. And as I was doing so, two older teenagers walked by me and they saw me struggling. And rather than offering their assistance, they offered jokes and humiliation instead. One of them said, hey, little N-word. Hey, little ninja, y'all following me? He said, hey, little N-word, you wouldn't be struggling if you got some. And it would put some hair on your chest and make you stronger. The other teenager chimed in and said, yeah, you can tell he ain't had none. That's why he got them bumps on his forehead. They then ran off laughing. I didn't know who those boys were, but they were my first teachers on sex. And they taught me that if you do it, it gives you muscles, puts hair on your chest, and eliminates acne. And I left that moment using my newfound knowledge about sex trying to detect those around me who were sexually active based upon their build, how much hair they had, and whether they had acne. I can laugh about it now, but back then, comments from kids in the locker room and barber shops and in the school cafeteria was really where I received my foundational knowledge about sex. And the sad part is, I'm not alone. Many of you likewise learned a variety of myths and falsehoods and fictions about sex from the streets. Come on, y'all talk to me here today. From the hair salons, from your cousins, and from other kids in the neighborhood as well. And the real tragedy is that with all of the misinformation that we learned about sex, that the church also played a major role in furthering a lot of confusion and a lot of misunderstanding. Of the 954 Sundays that I went to church from the time that I was born until the time that I went to college at the age of 18, I never heard a sermon about sex. And I only heard about sex one time mentioned in church. And it wasn't in a church sermon. It wasn't in a church service. It was in Sunday school when I was 11. The lesson that day was from 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. And there was this big, unfamiliar word that no one in the classroom knew. It was the word fornication. The verse said, flee fornication. And no one in my class, in my 11th grade class, knew what fornication was. And so when we asked our Sunday school teacher, and I will not mention her name, she might be listening today. My Sunday school teacher said this. She said, fornication is premarital sex. Fornication is sex outside of marriage. And she said that if you do it, it's a sin, it's wrong. And if you want to go to heaven, do not have sex. That is the only time that I ever heard the word sex mentioned in church out of the 954 Sundays that I went to church from the time that I was born until the time I went to college. And in some shape, size, or form, that's the message that many of us received as well. The specific details of your story may be different from mine, but for the most part, the takeaway that we all received was the same, that sex outside of marriage is sinful, unholy, and not pleasing to God. And depending upon which family system you came up in, or what neighborhood you came up in, or who your uncles or your cousins were, sex was something you did not talk about. It was shrouded in taboo, secrecy, and hiding. Layered on top of that were conflicting messages that boys got compared to girls. Come on, y'all, talk to me here today. Young boys received messages that encouraged us to do it, but girls were guilted and shamed and called names if they did. Y'all not in here today. There are very few Christians, especially Black Christians, who were introduced to the subject of sex in ways that were positive, open, honest, loving, accepting, and celebrated. And that experience, I believe, is why there is so much sexual ignorance, dysfunction, trauma, guilt, and shame in our community, in the church, and in society, because we don't talk about it. It turns out, church, that the culprit for this perspective that sex is unholy before marriage, that sex is unholy and sinful, all centers around the church's interpretation of one Greek word. That might be hard to believe. You might think that there ought to be a huge body of biblical material about this subject, but there's not. The entire architecture of the church's teaching about sex and human sexuality hinges upon a misreading of just one word. Tell your neighbor, wake up. You do not want to miss this. And this sermon series is designed to clarify what has been distorted and misunderstood by the church for millennia. So that this sermon series is designed to help believers live lives that are free from dogma and untruths, so that Christians can be equipped with the resources that they need to navigate the real life decisions that they have to face in life in a healthy, moral, and a responsible way. And so that they don't have to live their lives in spiritual bondage. Now, I want to be clear about something. I am acutely aware that today's message is one that you ain't never heard preached in the church. I'm acutely aware that this topic for many is a taboo topic, and talking about it in church makes some of us uncomfortable. I'm also acutely aware that many people have traumatic experiences with sex. They were abused or molested, and so these can be uncomfortable topics, and I'm sensitive to that as well. But I want you to know that I am not teaching on this to be provocative. This is not about sensationalism. This is not because I want to go viral on social media or because I want clicks or more followers or views online. I do this because the church's mishandling of this subject has had considerable consequences on our culture and on our society. It has adversely impacted how people see themselves and see their bodies, and it has had a huge impact on intimate relationships, and it's affected how parents treat their children when those children become active. And so this teaching today is necessary, not because I want to be known for saying something that is novel, but because I believe that lives are at stake. And I believe that people's ability to experience the life that Jesus wants us to have and to have it more abundantly is on the line. I am doing this because the church ought to be one of the first places other than the family where people can learn honest messages about sex, sexuality, and their bodies. The church ought to be one of the first places where people are able to talk about this God-given desire in a space that is safe, supportive, and free from shame, guilt, and condemnation. I lost some of y'all already. See, here's what I know. When the church ignores or fails to address things properly, it creates a void and a vacuum for Satan to step in and to distort what God meant for good and use it for evil. The one word that is responsible for all of this confusion is the word fornication. Can the church say fornication? Every teaching about sex in the church.
We'll pause right there. What do you think so far, Lost? We're going to do 30 seconds apiece, and then we'll jump right back in. And go ahead, sir.
You know how it is, man. These guys be setting this stuff up, man. So I'm reserving judgment until I hear the rest of it.
Okay.
But you know where I'm coming from. So
yeah, ditto. All right, here we go. Back to it.
Church begins and ends with some preacher, teacher, or Bible commentator building their teaching upon the meaning of this one word, what it means in our modern day English. But what have we said and what have we learned in this series? That just because you see a word in English, you cannot assume that it means in the text what it means today. Are y'all in here today? Remember, when it came to divorce, I said that just because you see the English word divorce, you cannot assume that it means in the text what it means today. And half of y'all came up on stage at the end of that sermon because you got freed and delivered
Yep.
from the teaching.
We can talk over it, Lost.
We'll see what happens.
It's the turn.
Today's message. Well, the same is the case with the word fornication. So here's the first point of this sermon. And I want you to get this because it's a bombshell. Tell your neighbor, wake up. This is a bombshell. The Greek word fornication in the Bible does not refer to premarital sex. See, when the Apostle Paul says flee fornication in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, he is not saying flee sex outside of marriage. The word translated fornication in the Bible is the Greek word porneia. It appears about 24 times in the New Testament. And the root word for the word porneia is the Greek word pornos, which means a harlot or a prostitute. Y'all following me? The context of verse 18 begins in verse 13 of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, where Paul says the body is not meant for fornication, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Should I therefore take the members of Christ and make them members of a prostitute? Do you not know that whatever is united to a prostitute becomes one body with her? Then Paul says in verse 18 to flee fornication. So the entire context of verse 18, church, is about fleeing prostitution. Not fleeing premarital sex.
Lost 30 seconds.
So in other words, he says flee 20 in the front and 40 in the back.
Yeah. So basically, you can bust that ass open for anybody as long as you're not selling it.
Well, I want to hear what he says about today, because that's basically what's going on anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start adding up, you know, as my boy said, you start adding up the cost.
Here we go. Back to it. Let's get back in there.
These pastors, wow, man.
Came to mean things like sexual immorality, sex before marriage. It came to be associated with things like infidelity or unchastity in the English language over 1,000 years after the New Testament was written. And I'll explain later why that happened. But in the Bible, somebody say in the Bible. Come on, say it again. In the Bible. In the New Testament, in the first century, fornication did not mean that. So in Matthew chapter 5, verses 31 and 32, when Jesus gives the grounds upon which a man can discard or throw away his wife, the word in verse 32 is porneia, which means he is saying that the only reason that a man can throw his wife out like that is if she has prostituted herself. Come on, I need y'all to get this here today, church. Not because she has been unfaithful, as some translations say. In other words, Jesus is.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I could have swore he let out an S. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you on the pulpit and you let the S word slip out, player.
Man, he did.
Come on. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Saying if she has not prostituted herself, otherwise you ought to get a lawful Jewish divorce. The body, think about all of the scriptures that mislead people about what's happening in the text. Many modern translations of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 13 say things like this in the NRSV: the body is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord. Or the Living Bible translation that says this, another problematic translation: but sexual sin is never right. These translations give unlearned readers the impression that the text is saying that sex before or outside of marriage is wrong. But the Bible is not saying that. It is critiquing prostitution, the immoral and unjust sexual and economic exploitation of poor people, slaves, women, and young males who were oftentimes forced into prostitution in the first century. Have I lost y'all still with me today? Every time the word porneia, translated fornication, is used in the New Testament, it is talking about prostitution. It is not talking about or condemning consensual sexual relations. I told y'all this is the first time you have ever heard this preached in a church. Therefore, Teaching Christians that sex before or outside of marriage is a sin may be tradition. It may be something that's been passed down from generation to generation. It may be something that you learned from an esteemed Bible preacher or teacher, but it is not something supported by the Word of God. There is no biblical basis for that teaching. I know this comes as a shock to many of you. It may sound sacrilegious to others, but I am obligated as a preacher of the Word of God to preach the truth of the Bible and not to further myths, superstitions, and lies. Jesus said, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So all of these Christian podcasts and Christian social media influencers and charismatic preachers telling people that having sex before or outside of marriage based upon the Word of God, they are wrong. They may be sincere, but you can be sincerely wrong. The Bible does not make celibacy a sign of your holiness. There is no biblical basis for all of these ministries spreading purity culture that abstinence until marriage is a sign of someone's fidelity to God. Y'all not in here today. There might be a whole host of legitimate reasons for someone choosing to be abstinent, but there's no biblical basis for judging and shaming and guilting someone who is not. And because of that, we need to reach a point in the church where we remove the stigma and the guilt and the shame and the taboo and the fear around sex. The question all of you should be asking right now is, why did the church change the meaning of fornication from a critique of a system of sexual exploitation to policing people's personal and consensual sexual choices? That's what you all ought to be asking right now. Like, how in the world did Christianity go from critiquing sex trafficking and sexual exploitation to prohibiting premarital sex as a sign of your holiness? It's a very good question. And the answer is to be found in what happened when Christianity went from being a minor religion in the first century to being the imperial religion across Europe centuries later. See, in the first century, Christian writers espoused views and teachings that challenged the state and those in power. Simple phrases like calling Jesus the Son of God was a challenge to those in authority. It was a challenge to the Roman government, which regarded Caesar as the Son of God. So to teach Christians to flee fornication, as Paul does in 1 Corinthians, it was to encourage Christians to not support a system of sexual and economic exploitation that wealthy men, Donald Trump, in the Roman Empire and those in power profited from. It meant that those who followed Jesus in the first century could not see themselves supporting politicians, Donald Trump, and wealthy men, Jeffrey Epstein, who gained prominence by hosting parties for women and young males who were being trafficked as prostitutes. But as Christianity grew and spread and gained in popularity across Europe from the 2nd century to the 13th century, Christianity became the official religion of many states. And as such, the church needed to shift its moral paradigm from challenging systems of domination and power to a preoccupation with issues of personal piety and personal morality. And so, to be less threatening to those in power, the church needed to identify and to elevate preachers who focus more on matters of individual morality, but they ignored matters of public morality. Y'all can be quiet, but y'all ain't scaring me here today. In the same way that slave owners in America needed religious leaders who would define salvation in terms of saving an individual soul rather than saving and erecting the social conditions that oppress those souls, so too did imperial powers in the West in Italy, in England, in Germany, and in France need to identify and elevate religious leaders who cared more about who you slept with rather than caring about whether you could sleep well at night because you had decent housing and fair wages and good health care. Come on, y'all, talk to me here today. And quality food to eat. And the church found just a voice in the Italian priest named Thomas Aquinas, who is the Christian thinker in the 13th century who was more interested in who you slept with than how you slept. He was more interested in personal holiness than public holiness. He was single-handedly responsible for changing the modern meaning of the word fornication from challenging the state-sanctioned system of sex trafficking that governments profited off of to consensual sexual relations between two unmarried people. Are y'all in here today? Those in power like preachers like Aquinas. They like them then and they like them now. Those in power love preachers who take the focus off of the injustices of the state. They like preachers who make them feel comfortable. And the reason the modern day church is more interested in who you are sleeping with rather than how well you are sleeping, the reason the modern day church is more interested in that, whether you are able to live a life so that you don't have to turn to prostitution, is because the church traded systemic critique of personal morality in favor for personal morality because they like those kind of preachers. Are y'all in here today? Furthermore, and this is my little commercial in this sermon, even when Aquinas talked about reserving sex for marriage, you got to understand that he was talking about teenagers, because young girls then generally got married at the age of 13. And young men got married between the ages of 19 and 21. And they were married till death do us part until the age of 35, because life expectancy in the ancient world was 35. There weren't no celebrations of octogenarians in the Christian church 1,000 years ago. Are y'all following me? So the idea that the Bible is teaching people in their 30s, their 40s, and 50s and beyond that if you have sex, you are living in sin and are going to hell, what was not even an ethical issue in the ancient world. So with that in mind, let us stop this game. Let us stop this charade. Let us end this pseudo-spiritual farce that has been propagated on the world up by the church, leading people to believe that sex is bad and that sexual desires are somehow a reflection of moral decay. Instead, let us remove the stigma and create a culture where people can live their lives, even their sexual lives, without shame, without guilt, without condemnation, without judgment, and without being placed in spiritual bondage. Let's practice safe text. Let us stop using the Bible to ignorantly and falsely further Victorian era ideals about purity and holiness that aren't even based on scripture. Let us not make people feel that in order to be accepted by God, that in order to be spiritual, they cannot be sexual. That leads church to sexual confusion and frustration, a lot of frustration in the body of Christ. It leads Christians to dissociate from their bodies, thinking that somehow sexual pleasure is just for those married people, and that if they never get married, they have to somehow abstain from sex for the rest of their lives in order to be acceptable to God. We must do this. We must destigmatize sex, because when you demonize the body, when you stigmatize pleasure, and when you distort the Bible to do it, it leads some to rebel and to turn to unhealthy ways of meeting what is otherwise a normal, natural, and legitimate need. Can I say it one more time? When you stigmatize it, you lead people to run away from what is otherwise a normal, natural, and legitimate need.
$30 seconds. Go ahead, Loss.
He tried. He tried. I give him an A for effort. He tried.
Man, he is man. This is dangerous, boy.
You know what? The Bible said there'll be false prophets, man, in the last days. And
yeah, this is
a
dangerous.
lot of that stuff going on.
Dangerous.
And
brother.
I was just talking to a friend of mine a few minutes ago, man, talking about the road to hell is paved with good intentions. He tried. He really did.
And I can see by looking at him, he's not married, of course.
Oh, so he got skin in the game.
Yeah, he's not married.
Okay.
Okay. And he has some tendencies. I mean, like if you can't see him, you can see him. You know, he has some tendencies. Watch his body language. You know, I'm not gonna say what those tendencies are. You judge yourself. But watch his body language, how he talk, his body movements, as well as he's not married. And I could tell that the church disagrees with him somewhat because the church is damn near empty. And so if you look at the seating when the camera zooms back. So let's continue and finish this up. But yeah, this is very dangerous for him to be preaching this farce. But let's go ahead and continue.
All right.
It causes people to engage in sexual hiding, turning to promiscuity, to not being able to talk to their parents. Why would you talk to people you respect, your preacher, your parents, your teacher, if there's this culture of taboo centered around something that we all been doing anyway? Well, not all. Okay, I know it's one or two of y'all. It leads people to turn to sex addictions and porn addictions. And furthermore, it can make it hard for some people to prepare to have a good sex life when they get married. Like, I've been thinking about this, like, how do we expect people to somehow spend their whole life thinking sex is bad, dirty? Bad girls do, good girls don't. And then all of a sudden, they're supposed to flip the switch. And be in touch. Come on, y'all in here today, like.
He's speaking in baby daddy now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Spend their whole life, it's bad, it's dirty, it's impure, it's nasty. That's bad. That feeling is bad. That thought is bad. And then all of a sudden, after you come down the aisle, they're just supposed to flip the switch and be like Adina Howard, just like that. This idea.
You see the mannerisms? You see it?
It causes people to dissociate from their bodies.
Hold on. Let me. Watch the mannerisms. Watch the mannerisms. I ain't saying nothing. I want y'all to see it.
That's bad. That feeling is bad. That thought is bad. And then all of a sudden, after you come down the aisle, they're just supposed to flip the switch and be like Adina Howard, just like that. This idea.
I ain't gotta say nothing.
This idea.
Okay, that nigga's feminine. Nigga,
It causes people
okay.
to dissociate from their bodies. Instead of being taught to honor, to listen to, and to understand their bodies as a part of God's given design. Instead, the church teaches individuals to ignore, to repress, to suppress these desires entirely. And over time, I want to tell you, this kind of repression does not lead to holiness. It leads to confusion. It leads to frustration, and it'll lead to low self-esteem. When people aren't given healthy ways to talk about and to channel and to express their sexuality, they struggle, and it causes other people to rebel. When desire is treated like a taboo rather than a divine part of God's human design, people end up turning to unhealthy alternatives. It leaves Christians ill-prepared and ill-equipped to navigate this part of their humanity with love, with acceptance, with grace and compassion and knowledge and wisdom. It leaves our youth uninformed about something that God gave them and makes them susceptible to peer pressure and turning to the underground world sources of sexual exploration. It leads them to formulate ideas about themselves and about their bodies that are not in keeping with God's will for their lives, and it can lead to adverse sexual consequences. What the church needs is a more sex positive atmosphere. And what Christians need is a more sex positive attitude. I'm preaching this church, as I said, not because I want to be provocative. I'm preaching this because I want to save somebody's life. And I want to free people from being in sexual bondage because the church practiced unsafe text. And I know what you're saying. I know what some of you are saying at this point. You're saying, so Pastor, let me get this right. So you saying, let me get this right. So you're saying that unmarried Christians have free reign when it comes to sex? So with this sermon, are you saying that we have a license to do whatever we want sexually and it'll be acceptable to God? And I want to be clear about this. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that while having sex won't send you to hell after you die, does it mean that there aren't moral principles that you should live by while you're alive? Tell your neighbor there's a difference.
See, that my first time watching this too, because I want to have a live reaction to it. No, he's a no.
What is that, man? The double-minded man? What
You're double-minded man.
All right.
Because now, what president are you saying? So what do you draw the line then? If you're saying that premarital sex is not a sin and God does not condemn that, then how far do you go until you know how far you went? So you got to explain that shit. I hope he goes into it, because if he don't, he's full of shit.
Here's my whole thing. At the beginning of his sermon, he started talking about how he was never taught what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's telling people, hey, just do this, but it's got to be moral. But my thing is this, does it make sense? That's what we have to start asking people questions. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because when people start doing stuff like this for basically clickbait sermons, it's one of those situations where it leaves people uneducated. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't give them the stuff that they need to navigate this world when they in predicaments and situations, So I'm gonna let him finish it out before I give him the full critique, but it ain't looking good.
It ain't looking good. He double-minded, but okay.
And here's the point. Sex is a normal, legitimate appetite of the body. And it is an appetite that God gave us. But can I tell you something? I say, can I tell you something? Like all appetites, our appetites need to be managed. Okay. See, the body that God gave us is nurtured and nourished by certain drives and appetites. Can the church say appetites? The body needs food and water, hydration. The body needs sleep and fun and laughter and play and pleasure, enjoyment, rest and exercise, adventure, intellectual stimulation, emotional freedom. The body needs spirituality, and the sex drive is one of those appetites. The body craves appetites, and the body longs for the things that I have just mentioned. And what we have to understand is that our appetites exist on a spectrum. There's a healthy or a positive end of the spectrum, and there is an unhealthy end of the spectrum. The desire for food, the appetite, exists on a spectrum. Y'all talk to me here today. You can eat well and in ways that fuel the body and keep it operating. And you can also eat in ways that's horrible and bring sickness and disease on your body. The body longs for fun and laughter and play as well. There's a healthy end of the spectrum of fun and laughter and play that release all of the wonderful hormones in the brain, hormones like dopamine and serotonin, oxytocin, and others that play key roles in helping your mood be regulated. I'm working on something. It helps you to sleep well and to help with your executive functioning. It helps with your stress levels. Lord have mercy. It helps with your social bonding and your overall wellness. And there's an unhealthy end of the spectrum of fun and play and laughter as well. And if you go to that end of the spectrum, it can lead to excess. Come on, y'all, talk to me here tonight. Partying every night until 5 o'clock in the morning. Have I got a witness here? Can cause you to get to a point where you can't go to work. You're not taking care of your responsibilities. And so there's a healthy end of the appetites and there's an unhealthy end. And so the key when it comes to appetites is to stay in the healthy end of the spectrum. Have I got a witness here? And to stay in the healthy end, you got to practice certain practices and you got to live by certain standards. Tell your neighbor standards, and you got to have certain principles. The problem with the church's flawed teaching on sex is that it implies that denial and deprivation are the way you handle appetites. And I don't think that that is good for the child of God. Like, I really believe that some Christians think that being boring makes them holy. I mean, I like listen to them and I like talk to them. Can't do this, can't do that, can't go there, can't be around this. Look, can I tell you something? Being boring doesn't make you holy. It don't. Tell your neighbor, being boring don't make you holy. One of the things that I really appreciated growing up was seeing the balance modeled by my parents. We went to church, and we went to church a lot. But we also had fun, y'all. We did fun things as a family. We laughed, we cracked jokes. And then when it was time for my parents to go out and do whatever adults did when they went out, they did that. My dad is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. And I used to see my parents as a young person get dressed up to go out to these Kappa cabarets and dances. My parents met at Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, and just about every year they went to the CIAA tournament and to do all of the CIAA events and go to all of the parties. I did not go because I was too young, but I saw my parents model balance for me. My mama taught Sunday school. My daddy was a trustee. I saw them balance spirituality with enjoying life. I'm trying to help somebody. And I think some Christians would be a whole lot better off if they could just enjoy life. You ain't praying all the time. You ain't in the spirit all the time. Ooh. Oh, Lord. Treating sex as if it's some evil, sinful, immoral, or carnal appetite is not only unbiblical, it's a contradiction to the way God made us. Let me be careful right along in here. If sex was just for the purpose of procreation, like if it was only for the purpose of having children, as the church has taught for millennia, then God never would have placed within us the capacity and the need to enjoy sex. Do I need to go back, kind of emphasize that a little more? Oh, there's some word I don't know if I can say from the pulpit. I won't. I don't want y'all to put me out. But rather than viewing sex as an appetite to be solved, we should instead view it like every other natural inclination, as an appetite to be managed. And we manage appetites through knowledge and experience and wisdom and balance and enjoyment. Eating is not an appetite that you solve through denial, because if you never eat, you would die. Instead, it is an appetite that you manage through knowledge, balance, talking to your doctors, and enjoyment. It is the same with sex. Rather than viewing it as a sinful desire that we have to solve through denial and suppression, I want to suggest that it is an appetite that we need to manage through moral principles and godly guidelines and through the leadership of the Holy Spirit. I can't go into a long, but I just want to give you just some principles to guide how you manage this appetite, and I'm going to raise up and get out of your way. The first thing that I want to suggest is that you got to see sex as God sees it. I want you to free yourself from the negative views about sex that have been perpetuated by the church, and I want you to embrace your desires as God does. There are numerous instances in the Bible, in the Songs of Solomon or in Proverbs chapter 5, verse 19, where sexual pleasure is embraced because that is a part of how God designed us. Okay, I'll get out of here. Secondly, I want you to make sure there is consent and make sure there is alignment. Always make sure there is consent. If someone says no, that means no. And then I want you to make sure there is alignment. You'll be surprised by how many people have sex and don't have real conversations. Like, have conversations about what's your expectation out of this, and because I need to tell you what my expectation is out of it. You got to make sure you are lined up, because if you're thinking about long-term commitment and if for other person it's just for the night, then y'all just might not be aligned. And at least if you do it, you need to know y'all ain't aligned. But people don't talk. They just go to the movies. They hold hands. They have all the chemicals and the feelings.
This nigga crazy. He just said, if it's a one-night stand, as long as you guys agree that it's a one-night stand, it's okay. So alignment don't mean alignment with God. Alignment means being aligned with each other.
Basically, he cutting the middleman out. He going straight to the manufacturer. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga here. He
ain't no different than the rest of these folks.
Man. And you hear the audience, yeah. So you know how many people in the lead church just start fucking?
And you know what the killing part about it is? Guys gonna see this, and they're gonna be like, see, that's the reason why I don't go to church.
Yep.
Because the dudes like this, and y'all listening to them.
Yep.
and he gonna be the main one sleeping with everybody in the church.
Yep.
And I'm around here paying all these bills for one of his
Genesis
kids.
said, "Holy one night stand."
No shit, that ain't all she said.
Oh yeah, I said that. Yeah, let's look at some of what she said. Hold on, I'm gonna go back up. Let's go back up and see what she just said. I want to highlight her comments here. Hold on.
Crazy.
She say, "Stop the cap, Pastor. God made me sexy just like all the other sexy people He created. Great sex appeal. I love my body in Jesus' name, amen." Yeah, we appreciate you too.
Amen.
Genesis, amen. Genesis says, preaching to the world, the wrong choir. He needs to be preaching to those who do not have a healthy understanding of their sexual desires and orientation. He is preaching to folks that are just hunching. Exactly. She said, laughing my ass off. They are enjoying life. We do not have single Christian baby mamas.
Yes.
Laughing my ass off. All right.
Yes.
Then she says, laugh out loud. He wants to say something's laugh out loud. Holy BJ, holy back shots, holy doggy style, holy reverse cowgirl. Laughing my ass off. He really wanted to say we all see it.
Yes.
Yeah. Then she said, laugh out loud. Alignment, sir. Please say, see who matches your holy freak.
Basically,
holy one night stand. She said, I'm here for it. I'm gonna say, sir, God said we must be in alignment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's continue.
Have a few cocktails and they're like, oh, it feels good. Where you going? Can I come up with you? Can I come up to you? They come up and the next thing you know, then here's what happens. They try to get on the back end what they should have got on the front end. Y'all ain't here today. They upset on the back end because you ain't calling back. We never talked before. There was never any conversation before. People get upset because they try to get from the back end expectations and agreement and understanding that they would have been much better off trying to get on the front end. Y'all not here today. Thirdly, I'm going to get out of here. There should be no deception or manipulation. No deception, no manipulation or exploitation. Morally, it is wrong to use somebody. It's wrong to use someone for money, for power, for position. It's also wrong to use somebody for sex. That's the whole architecture behind what this critique of prostitution is about. It is when you are using someone by lying to them. Lying to somebody is wrong. And you know, there are a lot of people who mislead people in a relationship, give them the impression that they want more in the relationship, it is wrong. It is morally wrong to mislead somebody about your intentions and about your motivations. Have I got a witness here? No exploitation. Tell your neighbor, no exploitation. This critique of prostitution is about people treating sex like it's a transaction. Like if I give you this, you gonna give me that? Come on, y'all, talk to me here today. Men do it and women do it. If I do this, I got a bill on the table. I just want to find out. If you do this, you're gonna give me the shoes, these bags, like what we doing? Tell your neighbor, that's transactionalism. And whenever we make sex, commodifying sex and making it a commercial exchange, then we're getting outside of the intention that God has for it. And certainly practice safety, right? Get tested. It's all kind of stuff going around here today. They got stuff didn't exist 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you just could take some penicillin, be good. Now it's like,
see, but you're promoting it though. If you're married, you don't have to worry about STDs if you're faithful to one another, right? So you should be teaching the loyalty and faithfulness in marriage, because in marriage you don't have to worry about getting tested. Now he's promoting it and saying get tested while you're having sex with other people.
When I woke up this morning, the Lord reminded me of a dog that we had growing up. Her name was Weezy. Weezy was a Yorkshire Terrier. We love that dog. But when I went to college, Weezy died. And I never forget my sister Trevor calling me crying on the phone when Weezy died. Well, that Christmas break, when I went home, I wanted to know why Weezy died. And you want to know what I found out? I found out from the veterinarian that Weezy died because we never had her spayed. We never had her reproductive organs removed. And we kept Weezy in the house. And she didn't go outside to interact with any other male dogs. And so the veterinarian said Weezy died because all of her sex hormones stayed within her and built up within her and caused all of those lumps and tumors that were going on in her body. She died because she was never able to release.
This nigga is on crack. He's on drugs.
Oh, some of y'all
Weezy
think
had
it's
semen
wrong.
retention.
He's crackhead. He's crackhead.
God sent me on assignment to tell somebody today, don't die like Weezy. Come on, put your hands together and give the Lord some praise today.
Wow. I ain't got shit to say. Bruh, this nigga is wow.
The doors of the church are
This
open.
nigga is
Wow.
wow.
Just wow.
Don't die like Weezy.
Like Weezy.
Because Weezy wasn't able to go outside and be a whore.
Oh, Weezy couldn't
died.
bust it open. Oh my God. That's so messed up, man. Poor Weezy.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Amazing.
Man, Weezy should have went what?
Guys, thank you for being here tonight, man. If you want to hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're just getting here. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit subscribe button, turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. We are live every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. All right. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. But this is ridiculous. If you want to come up on the panel right now, look at the top of the panel. Arpain, please come up. I want to hear what you got to say because I know you watched it. So come on up here, Arpain. But anybody else that wants to join the panel right now to have this discussion and you watch this blasphemy with us, please come up. I think I'm gonna make this a normal thing. I don't think we talk about the Bible enough and correcting those who misuse Bible and biblical intent. So I think we should start doing this more often, Lost, and just putting sermons up or putting things up that are outrageous, and we go to the word biblically and correct people who are wronging those who are lost or do not even know who Christ is. If somebody didn't know who God was and heard this sermon, this gave him a license to sin.
A license to thrill. You know what I'm saying?
A license to go out and just do whatever.
That's wild.
And so, yeah, it's wild. But yeah, I'm waiting on you, Arpain. But again, anybody else that want to come up, the link is at the top of the chat. I will definitely put it back in the chat again for those who it should be there. And yeah, there it is right there. Every platform can see it because we're simulcasting with my brother Lost in Translation as well. Thank you, Cassandra B, for subbing. I appreciate you. But yeah, guys, this is ridiculous for him to say that. Biblically, it speaks against this. He took fornicating and said fornicating.
He can't wait to get up here.
He basically said fornicating is for prostitution only. It's not for women who are out being promiscuous. And then the part that really threw me over the boat into the water with the crocodiles is when he said, be in alignment. If it's a one night stand, let it be a one night stand. But as long as you guys both understand it, he's okay with it.
Me and you both know that's not possible. Somebody gonna catch feelings eventually. You keep playing long enough. Arpain, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome, brother. Arpain, what's going on, my guy? Oh, you muted, or your mic's off.
You muted our pain.
No, I got it. Yeah.
There we go.
I have two mute things over here. First of all, it's Sunday, and I didn't want to come up here. And I said, man, don't click on this shit, man, because they're going to be saying something. It's going to force me to come up.
Did it work?
I started hearing this guy. And I think the thing is, first of all, the way people are fucking now, they've long since forgot about shame and fucking. Ain't nobody shame of fucking right now. So now he's trying to say, not only should you not be ashamed, the Lord says okay to be a fucking hoe. Right? It's okay. It's just okay. And listen, there's some natural things that's different, right? When we tell women, listen, men shouldn't, okay, let's say men shouldn't be, just spreading their seed willy-nilly. All right, that's true. But we know that just the anatomy alone, women shouldn't be given a license to think it's okay for them to sow their oats and still think they're virtuous because God said so.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so he dressed this lie with a skin of some things that's true. Now, even if you took for granted that he was right about the definition of fornication, okay, let's just say with a prostitute, that still doesn't say that you should go out and bust it open just because it's convenient and willy nilly. If you're young and you enjoy it, because we look, listen. I want to try to be profound, right? And I'm not going to be. But we already see the effects of unbridled sexual activity amongst humans in the West. We already see it. It's all around us, right? We can't even connect to each other because the natural inclination of a man is that we don't want women who slutted it out. How much more acceptance do we have to have, right? First, we wanted virgins. Then we say, okay, if you have one or two lovers and shit, I can handle that. Right now, it just keeps the goalpost just keeps moving. Now he's saying, we should be able to accept a woman no matter what we might as well start marrying porn stars because they were in alignment with
some of that old contaminated, dry rot.
So I mean, this guy I don't know if he's dangerous or not, but there is no morality in the sexual marketplace now. And then how could you come back to God when he tried to clean it up and say, well, you should be in alignment, you should be under control and all that. The one thing about sex is that it's a doorway to being out of control.
No, but one thing I want to add, Arpain, I just thought about this because Tuesday show, guys, make sure you subscribe right now. And if you are subscribed, make sure you turn notification button on so you guys know when we go live. Tuesday night, we have a podcast called Flipping Tables. And on Tuesday night show, we're going to say, if you wanted monogamy, you should have stayed a virgin. And so we're going to talk about that Tuesday on Flipping Tables. Now, so what if that's the case? So I want to have sex, but I want to have sex with two women. But so if I go to these two women and say, hey, listen, tonight, I want to have sex with both of you guys. And as long as we're in alignment, God's okay with it. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. So I could go. So now, when you open Pandora's box like that, now we're gonna open up all these sexual disasters. Now the gay dude's gonna say, "Well, as long as we're in line," because he said this on he was on Jamal Bryant's podcast.
That's all you had to say right there.
Yep, he was on Jamal Bryant's podcast the other day, and he said that there's nowhere in the Bible that God is against homosexuality. He said there's not a verse in the Bible that's against.
What version of the Bible did he have?
Exactly. He said it's not. He said it's not in there. So since he said it's not in there. Right. So now a man can go to another man and be like, hey, I want to fuck in your ass. Right. But then but just tonight, though, I don't want a relationship with you. As long as them two men are in alignment, God okay with it. Because he already taught in one of his other sermons. He had three. One about divorce, one about this shit, and one about homosexuality not being in the Bible.
Well, let me also say that, that you could make a case that every time people have sex and it's not assault, you're in alignment. You know what I'm saying? You can make a case that every sexual encounter that's not an assault, there's a certain amount of alignment, or else you wouldn't be doing.
Here's the thing.
So there's no. He's saying there should be no governor against sex from the standpoint of you thinking it's wrong. As long as you know that you're doing the right thing and sex is okay, and you're in alignment with the person you're having sex, just go ahead and do it. It's no government. Not even the Bible is a governor no more, or morality is not the governor no more. That's what he's saying. There's no governor over sex.
Well, here's the thing. What he's leaving out is that people. Well, the Bible is very specific. It said, "Thou shalt not make any graven images or idols," and that is twofold. Because I think sometimes people make sex an idol. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that is one of those things that we don't take time out to look and read and get understanding, because we can make anything an idol. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we can even make marriage an idol if it's done the wrong way. You know what I mean? So in this particular situation, he's making sex an idol.
Yeah. Genesis I am, thank you again for your comment. She said, at BMU, can a person re-virgin themselves by being celibate? No. Can you reseal a can of tuna? No. Once the can opener hits the can, ain't no resealing the can. It's cut open, and you can't put it back in there. It's over. So once you open your legs and bust that thing wide open, you can sit and do Kegel exercises. You can close your legs tight and squeeze as hard as you want to. The dam has already been broken, and there's no concrete to fix it. And so now, basically, the warranty is just out on your car. It's simple. A lot of women say, I'm celibate. What did Kevin Samuel say? Kevin Samuel say, you celibate and you got 2 kids, girl, you need to be giving that pussy away.
Yep.
Mean, you know, it's you telling a man you celibate, but you got 2 kids by 2 baby daddies. You wasn't celibate for them niggas, so now that I'm the right nigga that come along that may want to wipe you up, you want to be celibate now. You know what bothers me?
I know better.
You know what bothers me? I don't understand sexless marriage. Let me tell you why. I don't understand sexless marriage. When a woman gets married and she's been promiscuous and a simp nigga marry her, and they having sex before marriage, of course, but they get married 2-3 years in, she don't want to have sex no more. I'm tired, my head hurt. You were a whore before I got with you. And then when I got with you, you had sex with me like a whore. And then we get married, you shut it down, and you've been a whore your whole life?
Well,
you've been fucking since you was 12.
That's because that thing was based on transaction. See, now all of a sudden, you didn't get what you paid for. And that's exactly what he said. You can't be basing it on prostitution. That's exactly what that was. We just said that.
Yeah, I also got to say that. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to finish.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I got to say that if a man is in a sexless marriage, it's his own fault. It's his fault. Yeah, it's just his fault, man. And only from the standpoint that he allows that shit to happen. Because he's not willing to do what it takes to get out of it. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, I know it's easier said than done. But, you know, when a woman starts acting like an ass, but you don't do nothing about it, man, how can it be her fault any longer? Right? You either have to do something about it, or just shit, man. And too many men just accept their, you know, living that life of a quiet desperation. I think that's their fault, man. We put up with too much shit. I mean, why would you put up with that? I mean, you say that enough being you. I mean, just think about it. I mean, how could it, you know, I mean, it's the woman initiates an action that you don't like, and you said, fuck it, man, I'm consigned to live with it. That's just bullshit, man. Right? You got to do something about it. It's like a bully beating your ass, and at some point you got to say, man, I'm tired of getting my ass kicked. You know, I mean, something else got to happen. I can't live like this anymore. So every man who allows that to happen, man, it's his fault. Not for what the woman did, but for allowing it to persist. I mean, come on. I don't understand. We got financial things. We got kids that we have to worry about. I guess the first thing a man should do, and some of these guys don't even do that. I'd find me a nice side piece, and even if I had to pay her money, I'd do it. You know? So, I mean, I don't know, man. You know, sometimes we just let people get away. You know, luckily, man, I had to wait.
I believe, let me say this, Lawson, you could cook. I believe personally, if we want to talk biblically and he want to do a sermon, instead of him trying to cake for the women and make women feel better about being whores. Okay, because that's exactly what he did. Arpain, you alluded to it earlier. I want to make sure I give you credit for you bringing it up first. You said this guy's a heretic plant to ease women's guilt of being sluts. He's a false prophet. Absolutely 100% agree. Then you said this is the first time the whore did not mind being compared to dogs. And I agree as well. I think for all the men out there who are seriously dating, engaged, or married, particularly married, let's talk to the married men. If you are with your wife and you're unable to sleep in the same room with your wife, and you are unable to have sex with your wife, and your wife is putting everything before you, career, children, friends, partying, going out with her friends, and and her family comes before you, her kids come before you, that marriage by biblical principle is over.
It's over, man. It's
the marriage
over.
is already over. God has nothing else to do. And I'm gonna say this because this is biblical. God has nothing else to do with that marriage. That marriage is over. God don't even see you guys as one unit no more. Because once you you took a covenant to fuck me, love me, hold me down, have my back, give me head, take care of my kids. God says, I am the priority. He said, if there's husband, then that's God over man, man over wife, wife over children. If that's not happening, fellas, and you walking around with a hard dick and nowhere to put it, the marriage is over in God's eyes. In biblical principles, the marriage is over. The Bible says in Deuteronomy, that's one of my favorite verses. I can't believe I found it. It's in the Bible. I can't believe I missed it the first 2 times I read the Bible. It says that if you find indecency in your wife, give her a certificate of divorce and tell her to get out your house. Even the Bible supports that. He should be preaching that, instead of sitting up here trying to make whores feel good about being whores. Lost in translation, please cook.
You know what? What marriage?
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna get married after this.
No.
You know what I'm saying? What's the incentive? What's in it for you? All you got to do is agree, to give some holy back shots every now and then. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got to be responsible for what happens after that. If she has kids, oh well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we had an agreement. You know what I mean?
And,
what the government gonna say.
And another thing, Lost.
That's not what the government gonna say. You know what I'm saying? The government gonna be like, hey, playboy, hey, you made a mess over here. I need you to come over and clean it up. We're going to dip inside them little pockets and go and get them little ducats. You know what I'm saying? They don't tell people about the consequences. They always tell them about the good stuff. But see, here's the thing. He started his whole sermon out about what somebody didn't tell him. And at the end of the sermon, he didn't even tell people what they're supposed to do after that. All he said was enjoy in moderation. But he didn't give them no consequences. He didn't give them no directions. He didn't even give them the purpose for why couples have sex in marriage. It's supposed to be a form of worship between two people, not to be sold between each other.
And I'm gonna say this too. Men, stop feeling bad about a woman that said you don't please her. Stop feeling bad about women, because a lot of men out there, they're insecure as fuck about, damn, man. They got the mindset. You need to have the mindset of Uncle Jeff. Uncle Jeff said he don't have no Ford Excursion, but he does have a Jeep Grand Cherokee, right? It doesn't. A lot of men are insecure about pleasing women with their penis or the way they have sex. You stop being that way. Listen, get rid of her. The reason that they say, oh, you don't hit it right. Oh my God, girl, he ain't big enough. Oh my God, he don't stroke it good enough. If she's saying that she's used to being fucked and she has so much experience with dick that she wants you to be every man who has performed well inside her pussy. This is why you can drive an 18-wheeler in some of these women and make a U-turn and not hit a wall. You are not the problem. I was watching Oprah Winfrey a long time ago. I don't know the fuck I was watching it. I don't know who was watching. I think my mama was watching it. I don't know. Hell, my grandmother, somebody. But anyway, the lady was on there and they was having sexual problems, and Oprah brought in a sex expert to talk to this couple. And she's like, he don't please me. His penis is not big enough. I don't never have an orgasm. Blah, 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 blah. So they brought in medical experts to do x-ray on both of them, see if he had, something wrong with him, ED or some shit like that. Come to find out, she was born with a clit deficiency, meaning her clit was so huge, it was deformed, and it blocked the sensitivity to her vagina to get her to produce any type of ejaculation as a woman.
Well, let me ask you this.
She said when she got through having sex with her husband and he didn't bust one, or she didn't get no nut, she would go in the laundry room and pretend to do laundry, and she would put her clit at the edge of a basket and press it up against the basket or the washer or the dryer when it was in motion, and she would press it and rub it very hard up against the corner, and she would get an orgasm that way. The reason that was because she applied a lot of pressure to a deformed clit. So she had surgery on the clit and been busting nuts ever since, but she made her husband feel inadequate for 15 fucking years. Told him his dick wasn't good enough. You can't make me come. You can't do this. And she was the problem.
You know how many times that happens?
That's so funny. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Sound like she was almost born a dude.
Another secret message this guy had. He was trying to make it okay for gay men to feel cool about having sex too. I think that was his other hidden message.
There's no reason why a man should feel good about sucking dick like lifesavers. There's no reason that a man should feel good about fucking a man in the ass and you laying over with a man, his hairy balls are on your thighs.
It's
people
it's like an assault on your senses, man. I can't even see like two big bearded motherfuckers kissing and shit, grunting at each other. That's just really crazy.
And they
man.
Kissing each other in the mouth. Yeah, nigga. Hit that ass from the back. I don't like it.
It's an assault. It's gotten so bad that I don't even like to see two women doing it no more. I remember we used to be a nice fantasy, the two beautiful women doing it. I mean, it's gotten so bad.
But now the women are so now the women are so butch and bulldaggerish that even two women kissing each other, they're acting like niggas. They picking the girls up, slamming them on the bed, and fucking them. I mean, it's just really the fantasy is deterred. Okay, now
so let me ask you guys a question. What's the purpose of his sermon? Because clearly in the West, in America, any morality towards sex has been going for decades.
Well, R-Pain, here's the thing.
No, it's been going. Go ahead.
Here's the thing, R-Pain.
Hey, hold on, y'all, real quick. Shout out to Mr. Bennett. I just looked on his Facebook page. He just lost a loved one.
He did?
That passed away.
Dang.
Yeah. I just saw it. I'm reading it now, but I just got there. So, Mr. Bennett, we praying for you, brother. Go ahead.
Well, R-Pain, here's the thing, man. When the money funny, and folks ain't coming to church like they used to, you got to do something to get them riled up to keep coming through the door, through the turnstiles. You got to bring in new monkeys for the show. You know what I'm saying? New clowns for the show. New lions and tigers for folks to see the circus. You know what I mean? Folks getting tired of seeing the same old bears and monkeys or whatever. They got to bring in a few zebras. You know what I'm saying? a few little goats or something. Something different. So people will come in and they'll preach stuff that goes against your senses, and you be like, that don't even make sense. Jamal be the main ones telling you that you need to pull your boots up by your bootstraps when you done mess around and got somebody pregnant. You know what I mean? Or you done got pregnant by somebody else, and now everybody's shaming you because you on your fourth baby daddy with 3 kids. You know what I'm saying?
and Jamal Bryant just did a sermon a few weeks ago. I just listened to it yesterday, and he was talking about how people saying that how he dog out men, or he's standing for men. He's selling T-shirts at his church that says "Vote like a black woman."
I saw that. Your boy had
vote like a black
Roland
woman.
Martin had one on.
Vote like a black woman.
Roland Martin had one on.
Roland Martin had one on. You say, "Oh, you sure did." He sure did. It says "Vote like a black woman" on the damn shirt, and he's selling them and got the men at his church wearing them. Okay, so now he said the men are stepping up and saying that he's a punk and that he don't stand on nothing. And he said, well, you know how he talk. Well, you can say whatever it is that you want to say.
You can say whatever it is you
want to say. He said, but I got hands. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. And if you come in here and you got something to say, we can throw hands. Man, listen, he probably would never hear this. He probably would never hear this. He got that young 30-year-old wife, fine as fuck. Let's just start there. She bad.
See, that young stuff have you thinking you Hercules out here.
Yeah. She said, boy, that thing is bad. But anyway, he's 58, she's 30. But that's neither here nor there. My thing is, Jamal Bryant,
ain't no blue pills in these streets. You gonna get whooped up.
Yeah. Jamal Bryant, they can tie one hand behind my back, hit me in the leg with a bat, and inject me with horse dye, and I will beat your ass. You can't fight. Everybody knows you can't fight. You ain't got no hands. Let's just stop this cap. Just like the other day, the guy Stephen Kim or whatever, he's a journalist. He was talking about Denzel Washington because Denzel Washington threw shade at Jason Whitlock, and Jason Whitlock and Kim are friends. And he said, "Oh, and now we got overweight, unhealthy, fat people behind microphones trying to tell football players how to be football players, and they never played the game." And Kim said, "Well, I've seen Denzel in the gym. You know, Denzel been boxing since he was a teen." And he said, "I've seen Denzel working out in the gym." He said, "Denzel ain't gonna do nothing. Call Denzel hands." And so like he gonna whoop Denzel. Stop the cap. Denzel will beat your Asian ass. You 5'3"? Denzel will beat your ass. So, everybody got a mouthpiece now. Jamal Bryant got all that security in his church. If you was that bad, Jamal, you will take all them security guards at your church that's carrying 9mm, and you will get rid of them.
Hey, you know, BMU, I want to go back to something you said about Jamal Bryant with that shirt, those shirts about vote like a black woman or vote.
Yeah, vote like a black woman. Yeah.
Well, let me just share something with you real quick. Just real quick. And this is why it's the worst advice in the world, right? Okay. You see this? You see this on the screen?
Yeah, what we're looking at?
This is the list of all the black women since 2016 and up who got high positions who fumbled the bag. All of them. Catherine Pugh, Tiffany Henyard, Soda. I mean, these women are the people who are the Democrats are promoting. Fannie Willis, Jasmine Crockett, you know, Natalie Hall, right? Karen Bass, going to Africa while Rome is burning. Letitia James, after her stinking ass for mortgage fraud. Lori Lightfoot. Judge goes to, Kamala Harris, she's maybe not in a scandal, but she would have been the worst thing that ever happened to the United States. Latasha Brown, right? Yep. These are all Democrats, right? And then, of course, they finally caught up to Cantrell, I guess that, you know what I'm saying? So these are all black women. I would never vote for a liberal black woman, ever. Never. I don't care who she is, because they just what they stand for, man, is an antithesis of anything I really believe in, man, because it's always crime in their areas, right? That they just have empathy for every fuck shit that goes on, whether it's the alphabet mafia. So I don't want to go on that. So this guy putting that on a shirt. Matter of fact, it's not just black women. We have too many women in leadership positions, period.
Yep.
I mean, how many times? It's just period. I mean, the ones over men. Like you go to some places, a police chief and a woman comes out there, the numbers don't add up. I got a police force of 20,000 men and maybe 100 women or 200 women. And a woman is a police chief. Statistically, that's just an impossibility unless she's a plant. You know what I'm saying?
And you're right. And I'm going to say this again. I'm going to go back on something I said. I ain't going to change what I said. I'm going to go back and add something. It is time, guys. It is men out there. I think even this, in our opinion, this is no jab at older guys, because I love what you and your wife have together. I think it's a beautiful thing. I saw the video. I saw how much you guys loved each other. So this has nothing to do with men like you. But older men who are in marriages, who've been married for 40, 50 years, 35, 40 years, and you're miserable, don't give nobody no advice. Because you niggas are the ones that are telling the men, happy wife, happy life, and men are suffering because of it. Men are suffering because of it. And it's time that you come up out of that. I don't care if you're 65. Yeah. Some men, in our opinion, you probably know a few. Some men have been married for 40 years and their wife make them miserable.
Yes.
Makes them miserable. Yeah. Don't serve them. They're not there for them. The man can have anything and be around, and she won't be there for him. Nowhere near a virtuous woman. Friday night, we had a woman on our panel who said she's virtuous, but couldn't tell us she was virtuous.
Yeah.
couldn't
I hear you. It's the old guys who did that. And that's not how I live my life. I was going to write a book called Women Are High Maintenance and the Men Who Love Them. And it goes along that line. I mean, because every man who has a woman pays a certain maintenance fee to stay with her, right? Whether it's money or whether it's not just money. When I say fee, it's energy, it's everything that goes along with having that woman in your life.
Right.
And some women are very high maintenance, right? And I mean, they can say, well, men are too, but not like women, right? So anyhow, so I'm saying that's part of it, but I never agreed with that happy wife, happy life shit. But I know a whole bunch of guys in my age group, and they used to sicken me.
Well, Arpain, hold on.
They used to sicken me.
Stay right there, Arpain. Explain this to me, Arpain, because I'm learning from you right now. Why do the men say happy wife, happy life, but why do they also just encourage? They're miserable, but they encourage other men to stay in that marriage. Everything gonna get better. She could be stupid, but if you ain't no real man, if you can't handle that woman, I've heard this before.
Well,
uncles are saying if you can't handle that woman, you a weak ass man. If you can't handle that woman cussing you out and treating you like shit, fuck no.
No, see now that part, I don't know. That part might have happened, but I haven't heard too many of my guys who are living in that quiet desperation.
Mm-hmm.
I might not be around them when they're professing that shit. I'm the kind of guy who says when your woman leaves you, the first thing you need to do is get some ass right away so you can forget about it, right? And people tell me that's some badass advice. I didn't say marry the chick, but she's gonna move on to the next dude maybe within weeks. So I tell a guy to get your mind clear, go ahead and find somebody you can get off with, and so you can ease the pain of her leaving you. So I'm not one of those guys, but I haven't heard too many guys. I say, listen, this is how I live my life, and my wife tells me everything. I told you when I was young, when my father and my grandfather and all the men back in the day would come home from work and give their money to their woman, I thought that was some crazy shit. I was 10 years old. I said, I'm never doing that shit. Never. I said, why are you doing that? And I'll tell you one, I'm gonna stop joking, but you know why that's the wrong thing to do?
Why is that?
And I'm gonna say, let me judge real quick. Because if you give your woman the money to pay the bills and all that, and you know that sometimes money is short, now she's making critical decisions in your house. And after a while, you don't even know what's wrong because you lose sight of what's happening with the money if the woman has all your cash. So now you're no longer in charge of the decisions and the direction your life is going because she's parsing out how the money gets paid. And I said, you're losing control. Because I may tell you might know in the beginning, but after a while of doing that, you have absolutely no idea what's going on with your finances in your house. And that's not, you can't be a leader if you don't know that part.
And guess what? And she could be putting a little bit to the side and saving
it. Whatever the hell
she's doing. When you hit rock bottom, she's gonna take that very money you didn't have no control over and leave your ass. But I'm gonna say this because we got Mr. Bennett and also Peter coming up next with the gray area. Guys, make sure you come back and watch the gray area in a few moments at 8:30. But I won't give them time to set up. But they'll be here at 8:30 tonight. Tonight they'll be discussing how has music changed over the years. From where it was and where it is now. I can say this before the show, so I'm gonna give them a little promo before the show start on what I believe. I believe that music is completely different. There's nothing that's on the radio now that I want to hear 40 years from now.
Nothing.
That right? But everything that we listen to that is not of today, Earth, Wind, and Fire, over 40 years ago, 50 years ago, probably, right? KC and the Sunshine Band, the Brass Connection. Oh my God. Marvin Gaye. The Temptations, the Whispers. I mean, all that stuff is you put it on today, people still like, oh, okay, yeah. It doesn't matter how long, the OJs, so on and so forth. Now, who's gonna be listening to WAP in 60 years?
Well, black man, why don't you?
Yeah.
Music is like food, man. When you put the love in it, you can tell. You ever went to and ate somebody's food that just threw it on the plate and it tastes like it was mad? Well, basically, that's what music is. If you don't put no love into it, it tastes like somebody who didn't give a damn. And that's the main reason why people don't enjoy today's music. And that's it.
Well, guys, if you didn't get a chance to watch this show today, please go back.
Music of the past with a timestamp.
Pastor Delman Coates. He's a PhD, has a PhD in theology. That is his name. If you want to go look it up. The name of the video is called Let's Talk About Sex. And so make sure you go back and watch this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, share button. react to it, whatever you want to do. I'm okay with it. But again, man, the show that's coming on next is called The Gray Area with Mr. Bennett and Peter, and they will be on in 15 minutes. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming out. We'll see you guys next Sunday, man, with something completely new. This guy got a series, so we're going to talk about his ass for about 3 weeks. All right. So we'll see y'all later, man. Peace. We out.